Hello everyone, welcome to a new video, and I just want to start this video by saying thank you to all of you who have been sticking with me through all of the good times and bad times here on YouTube and all that good stuff. So, please excuse me by the way too, I'm still trying to recover. I'm not completely well yet, so I apologize, but I think my voice sounds a little bit better than it did the other day when I was talking about how sick I was. So anyway, so I have a Sketchbook Pro tutorial for you, and I'm actually showing you screenshots on my computer. Now, mind you, the drawing was done with my Samsung Galaxy Note 8.0, and I used the S Pen. And for those of you who are wondering, the S Pens do not work on regular tablets. They only work on the tablets that Samsung produces. And I'm pretty sure, like for instance, like the one I have right now, I don't think it will work with like the new Note, because they're two different pens. It might. I haven't tried, but anyway. So so that's the tablet I use, but I'm showing it to you on my computer just so I don't have to try to hold the camera. And my other tablet is acting really funny. So with all of that said, let's get into it. Okay. So here's something new, and I want you guys to try this. For those of you who actually are doing the drawings with me, and are trying to copy some of the techniques that I'm showing, I want you to try this and send it to me. Send it to howtodrawlikejohn@gmail.com, and then also to let me know what you thought of this this technique or whatever. I don't know how I really call it. Well, yeah, technique. But anyway, let me know what you think of this, and let me know how it worked for you. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so here's the first thing. We're going to start off, and we make kind of like, I'm going to be using my hand a lot to point or whatever, but anyway, start off by making this this shape of the head. This is by the way, all of these are screenshots that I did from when I did the electro drawing. So yeah, so that's what this is from. Okay, so anyway, so start off and just make the shape of the head, and then fill it in. Now, number 2. Now, I know, I can just use my mouse. I don't know why I was using my hand. Okay, so now, as you can see right here, all along and down, and all the way around, create the exact same thing, but obviously you can tell this is a different texture of blue. So just go ahead and do that, and just try drawing in on these the spots where it's marked out, and then also too for here where the eyebrows are, well, just underneath the eyebrows, and yeah, so just try putting that there. Now, the reason why I'm saying all of this is because you try to draw in patterns. So, for instance, we see now we have, versus when we go back, we have just the solid blue. Then we come back, and then what do you see? You have to be able to see the pattern. So there's the pattern here, which is the all darker colors, and then also the blue. So you would try to draw, well, at least when you're looking at something, if you're trying to draw it, you try to find these patterns that are in the drawing. So if you were looking at, let's just say someone else's face, you look for like the darkest tones, and then you try to draw the shapes that they're in. So that's exactly what I did. I did look at a photo for when I was doing this, but I just put my own spin on it. Anyway, so try that out. Let's move on. Okay, so now, as you can see that, just to make sure you saw that. Okay, now, so what I did is I went over this part, I went over actually with a brighter color blue. So you can go ahead and just do that. And the reason why I did that is because it's going to make this all kind of stand out. Because the more layers you start to add, eventually they can start to fade into each other. So we don't want that to happen. So that's why I would put the, it's just like a really big highlight. Instead of like normally when I'm doing my videos, when I do like a highlight over here on the edge, this is a complete full highlight on, things like his forehead, the nose, all the stuff. So you guys were able to see that. So just one more time and then back. Okay, so next. Now, could you see that? Okay, so it's the same thing. All we're doing is we're just darkening things up a little bit, just so they can stand out, just a harder contrast. It's very important to get that from the very beginning. You want to make sure that your head has a good three-dimensional feel to it, and you don't want it to feel flat. Okay, so now here's the important part. I always talk about highlights. Highlights are extremely important. So here is, here's what I did. I went and I got white, and we put a highlight back here. Mind you, all this whole area back here is for reflected lighting. That reflective lighting means things that could be in the room. So say there's could be like a light somewhere back over in here. It's a little bit of that light would be bouncing on his head. Our main light source is from here, obviously, but you know, when you're in a room and there's more than one light or so, you're going to get a little bit of light bouncing off all around the room. So that's what that is. Okay, so let's try to go through this a little quicker. But yeah, go ahead though and just start adding in these, and you can pause this video at any time. Yeah, so just feel free to pause the video anytime, and if you feel like you missed something, just go ahead and go back. Okay, so you add all the highlighting here, we add around here, like, you know, for his, like, where his cheeks are supposed to be, because you don't want that to fade in. It's very important to keep the form of your original drawing, so see if I were to go back. You can see it's still staying, it's still staying the same, so we want to keep that form, we don't want to lose that. Okay, now, I went ahead and I darkened in where his ears are and where his eyes. The eyes are important too. You don't want to forget the eyes are important because you don't want eventually, you see how that's starting to become the same color as close to like this right here? They're all it's starting to become the same color. Even though we have the little highlights of the markers or where they're supposed to be, you still don't want to forget. So go ahead and just add that darkness to it so you can remember and be like, okay, so, you know, don't let this area get too flooded or whatever, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, so as you can see, we put more, we didn't touch over here in this area, we just touched over here, and then over here we just made these things a little bit darker, and then also too the lines in his face and under his lip, we made that a little bit darker as well. Again, these are just things so you don't lose your drawing, so it doesn't fall off, and so yeah, let's keep going. Now, we went ahead and we put the eyes in. And also too, we would start to put this this light up in his head. The way I was able to do that is I created another layer, and then I drew the shapes of like what I wanted, whatever, and then just turned the opacity down really low. So that kind of gives it that look like it's kind of inside, but there's still more things to actually do to make it feel more like it's deeper in there than it is right now. Because currently it kind of looks like it's just stuck on his head a little bit, but we want it to actually look like it's, you know, deeper. So I'll show you how to take care of that. And that's exactly what we do right here. So it's preparing, it's layering, but preparing for it. So what I actually did is, if you can see, you draw, like I said, you draw this, you try to fade it so it looks like it's off in the background. Then when you start to put like the veins and stuff, now see this vein right here? It's running, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit closer. Okay. So as you can see, that vein, you see we have veins going across. That gives it the depth fill, you know, of having this like run on top, and for this to be very visible and for this to still be not so visible, it gives it more of a depth fill to it. So that's something very important to remember when you're doing this type of a drawing. Okay, so now as you can see, you can see like there's this crater in his head, and kind of fix that up, tighten things up around the edges. You know, did a little more to his lips. Well, obviously, whoops, too far. Quite a bit more to his lips. See, his lip was pretty much blue right here, and then we just kind of made it look a little more realistic. So that, and then also too, you can see some more shadowing here in his nose, and then also too over here underneath where his chin line is supposed to start. So it was kind of there, but again, starting to fade away. Have to sharpen it up. So these are things that you're gonna have to try to remember. You can take note and be like, don't forget these things or whatever. Just a little piece of paper you can just put in next to you when you're drawing or something, and just little guidelines to follow or so. Now, excuse me. Now this was actually a pretty big step because I started drawing like crazy for a while and I forgot to take screenshots. So, but anyway, right here we have, now this was very simple. All I did is I went and I got like this color blue right here, and I just made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then kind of 7. You can kind of see it underneath there. And just made strokes, just like that. Then I came and then I used the lighter blue and then went back on top of them, 1, 2, 3, and so on the same on the other side. And then I merged those layers together, and then I went and got white, which is right here, and then whoosh, 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 right there. And so that's actually how I was able to create the neck looking piece. And that's all that's there. Like this black part, that's just still the background, but it's working for right now until I actually filled it in. And when it came to this kind of metalish looking piece, all I did is I grabbed white right here, kind of a more, I guess, a really light gray, I guess I would say. But anyway, so I took that and drew out the little piece for where, you know, his neck piece ends and kind of starts to go into his shoulders. And then for the kind of more metalish kind of brush look, and I just went and got a dark gray and used the airbrush. I've been using the airbrush for all of this pretty much, by the way. And we got the airbrush and just kind of made some strokes here. And then, I don't know if you can see them, but there's like lines right here. And then just made the airbrush a little more smaller and a little more pinch. And then just kind of did some strokes there and then added this little thing. And then added these curves. And you can do that just by adding some black. Okay. Next, I moved the drawing over from the corner because I had an idea originally, but I decided it wasn't going to work the way I wanted, so I just decided to move the whole drawing. And at this point, I did merge all of this together. So, yes. There is... Okay, it's not yet. It's coming up, though. Okay. Anyway, so now I went ahead and I just added on... I don't know how much of this you guys can see all of this. Let me see. Okay, anyway. You can see most of it. Okay, but anyway, so I went ahead and I just moved, I drew on this little elbow piece right here, and my camera's cutting the rest of it off, but there's slightly a little bit of chest right there, but it's okay. Anyway, so yeah, so pretty much the same thing. I just had to pick this color right here that you can see, and drew in a little piece right here, and then took some white for a highlight, highlighted this, and then here, to separate it, to make it look like there's two different pieces, I just took a streak of black and just ran it straight across right here, and then the same thing right down in there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, so, let's see. Yes. Now, very important. Okay, so, here's the things that we added. For one, we added this computer piece on his head, which was, I mean, you can put it there if you want. I don't know. I almost didn't put it there, but I decided, I was like, oh, I'll just do it for whatever. Anyway, in the background, same thing again. This is very simple. All I did is I grabbed this color, and I just made a bunch of streaks in the back, and then came back through with some white, made some smaller streaks, and that's pretty much it. And then, that is the background layer. But, if you notice, it looks like there's more light kind of glowing around his head. So what I did is I created another layer of blue, and I turned the transparency down to probably about like 45% or so, maybe a little bit lower, and I put that layer on top of everything. So the reason why I do that is because it kind of gives it more of a look, more of a glowish look, like he's actually in the picture, if that makes any sense. Okay. Also, that's my name down there, but that was very unfinished. Okay, so now here's more detail. Here's some more detail. Now, as you can see, we have the veins here, but the veins need to look more like they're popping. So, what do we do? So, here's what we did. I went and I added a little bit of like, I went and got a little bit of black and just retraced on the sides of those veins. Let me see if I can zoom in so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, trace them just a little bit underneath, just so it looks like the veins lifting off from the head a little bit. And then also too, it created these smaller lines. Can you see that? It created these smaller lines, and that helps with more depth and dimension into the drawing. And then also too, along here on the sides of his face, you can see, like, this is a good example right here. See, this one's kind of more faded off in the background, which where these are more strong. So that makes it look more like there's more layers. I tell you, everything is about layers. If you can master layers, you can pretty much do whatever the heck you want. Alright guys, so I think, let me see, I think we're pretty much done with this. I don't want this video to be too long, otherwise it's going to take forever for me to upload. Okay, yeah, and I think that's it. Let me see. Yeah, because I think it starts over again. Okay, So yeah, guys, so that's pretty much it. So that's just a little basic rundown of how to just kind of get a nice drawing going by just preparing and drawing in layers and just thinking ahead, you know. So that's just kind of a better good look of the entire drawing. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think of this, and feel free to go through this, practice this, find a picture that you want to draw off of, and if you send it to me, send me the picture that you're working from, like that you found on Google or whatever, and then send me your drawing of that picture in those different stages that we were talking about, like that, well, that we've been going through. So please do that for me, and again, thank you to all of you that are supporting me. And I really appreciate it. It really means a lot, you guys. So if you could, please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to comment as well. And also too, yeah, keep me in your prayers so that I can get well. And then let's see what else. Oh yeah, also too, Rise of the Galaxy is the second part is coming along very well. So I'm very excited to share that with you guys. If you guys can, please share it with people that you know, just so the series can have like a good following behind it, because I put in a lot of work into that, and so if you guys could just be so kind as to share it around, just to help, you know, get more people attracted to it or whatever, it would mean the world to me. All right, so I'll talk to you guys later, and I think there's going to be another casting call for part 2, so keep an eye out for that. I'm not going to say exactly when, but it probably will be fairly soon, maybe within a few weeks or so. Alright then, you guys, so I'll talk to you later. I love you all, and you guys are awesome. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, bye.